Ken Chillibeck reported. So he wants the choice in the second half.
Damon Allen and the Lions begin at their 41-yard line. No score in the football game. Allen, quick drop, sets it up for Alfred Jackson, and the pass is incomplete as Jackson couldn't hang on. We mentioned a moment ago that Alfred Jackson had one of the great days in CFL history. How about 7 catches for 308 yards and 4 touchdowns against the Edmonton Eskimos, the day that Matt Dunnigan broke the CFL record for passing yards in a game, 713 yards in 1994.
Yeah, it was with Winnipeg, and you know that Adam Rita wants to get his big play man the ball. That's Alfred Jackson. I bet you Ron Lancaster pulled that old film out from '94 to show his DBs.
Second down, Allen from the shotgun. At time, now he'll take off, and he's got room. Allen puts his head down, gets out close to midfield, a gain of 14 yards and a first down for one of the league's most elusive quarterbacks.
You see how Damon Allen ran into traffic there and didn't hook slide? Damon Allen has hurt his knee this year a couple of times, and always because he's tried to hook slide and that leg has got caught. I think he's just decided, forget it. When I go take off and run with the football, I'm just going to do like I've always done, run like a running back, and probably have less problems with injuries.
Damon Allen now 2 carries for 31 yards. He's also BC's leading rusher in the 2 wins over the Edmonton Eskimos. Now they set it up for Shalon Baker, the same receiver screen, and in the same result. In fact, a worse result since they threw it to Alfred Jackson. That's a loss of a couple.
Well, up front for the Edmonton defense, Derek McCready's having one of his best seasons, has 4 sacks on the year. Willie Pless, speaking of best seasons, could surpass his own best total for tackles with 11 in the regular season. Continues. Trent Brown is the safety. Malcolm Frank and Kavis Reed are on the corners. Kavis Reed, 5 interceptions. Glenn Rogers, 6 on the season, which is second in the CFL.
Only the Toronto Argonauts have allowed fewer points than the Edmonton Eskimo defense. Second down. Allen all day looking for Jackson. It bounces up. It's intercepted by Willie Pless. And Willie Pless has a convoy in front of him. Now he laterals it off. Tommy Henry with the ball. He gets inside the 25, down the 24-yard line. Turnovers, which have killed the Edmonton Eskimos against BC, are a big factor for the Eskimos here.
One of the problems in the play for Damon Allen was he has 2 receivers in the same position. That causes the problem in coverage. 2 receivers should not be in exactly the same spot. You're going to see both Alfred Jackson and Mike Trevathan standing side by side. That causes the congestion. The ball tips up, and Willie Pless gets the easy interception with a little lateral at the end of it to Tommy Henry. Turnovers have been a problem for Edmonton in this game. Willie Pless gets one for his team to turn things around momentum-wise.
3rd interception of the year for Willie Pless. Now McManus sets it up for Eddie Brown. And again, Leonard Humphreys grabs a hold of Eddie Brown to limit what might have been a big game. And the pickup is maybe a yard. Eddie Brown not having the kind of year he's used to. He does not have a touchdown catch since week 6 of the season. Of course, he's battled health problems. 784 yards receiving for him, though, and 3 touchdown catches. And, of course, the highlight reel catch in last year's Grey Cup game.
Yeah, Eddie Brown, it's tough to come back when you haven't been running. He's missed a bunch of games this season and slowly got himself back in the lineup.
Now McManus looking for the end zone for Darren Flutie. The pass is out of his reach. And so the Eskimos will try for 3 off the Willie Pless interception.
Well, it's called sudden change, though, Gord, and the BC defense right now has come out and responded. Willie Pless comes up with a big interception for Edmonton. Tons of momentum on their side, but they can't capitalize and get 7 points out of it. So it's almost turned into a victory for the BC Lion defense because they hold them 2-0.
Fleming will try this field goal from 29 yards out. And he's had his problems this year, but inside the 30 has not been among them. He's 18 of 20 inside the 30 this year. From the 29, with Kemp holding, Fleming puts it up and good. And Willie Pless's interception leads to the first points of the football game. The Eskimos with a 3-0 lead on the BC Lions. The CFL Live returns to Edmonton after this. 4 times the CFL's top defensive player, including the last 3 years in a row. And Willie Pless has the biggest defensive play of this game so far, the interception of Damon Allen that set up the Edmonton field goal. Now Sean Fleming will kick it off deep to the BC Lions. There's Here's Shalon Baker. Back deep with Corey Philpott. And Fleming kicks it to Baker from the 20. Baker looking for some room and still going out across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Maurice Miller makes the stop, a 21-yard return of the 53-yard kickoff. Well, Willie Pless is a guy you'll find in the stats, big time. He leads the league in tackles. In fact, he has 27 more tackles than anyone else. But how about 6 quarterback sacks, 3 interceptions, a fumble recovery, and then, to go with it, a touchdown catch and a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, this is what I like about it here. Look at this. He's got 2 touchdowns, a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. Eric Blunt, the starting tailback for Edmonton, has not found the end zone this year. Willie Pless has more touchdowns than the starting tailback.
On first down, this is Brad Yamoka, the rookie fullback, taking the place of Sean Millington, and Yamoka barrels into Edmonton territory down to the 49-yard line. And Yamoka with a pickup of 17 yards.
Well, I asked Corey Philpott about Brad Yamoka. I said, he's actually replacing Sean Millington, but you'll likely get most of the running plays. And he said, no, Brad Yamoka will get the odd play because Edmonton doesn't think that he will. When Yamoka comes in, the Edmonton defense will be thinking pass, so we will throw a couple in to Yamoka.
Now Allen on play action. And looking to the sidelines, hard to tell if that was for Nick Mazzoli or Mike Trevathan. It kind of split the difference and falls incomplete.
Well, Damon Allen has had some problems hooking up, throwing the football early in this game, but because of the coverage from the Edmonton secondary. So far, they've done a nice job of jamming the BC defense, mixing man and zone defense up, so Damon Allen has had some problems throwing the football.
For the first week in the season, Damon Allen is not the league's #1 rated passer. Doug Flutie overtook him last week, but Allen held that spot every week up until this. Now on second down, Allen from the shotgun. Looking deep again for Jackson, and again it falls incomplete. Glenn Rogers Jr. was back there on the coverage, so the Allen to Jackson connection has misfired a couple of times, and BC will be forced to punt.
I watched Alfred Jackson on that play, and it looked to me like he was running what's called a read route. Meaning when he takes off and runs his pattern, he decides what kind of pattern he's going to run depending on where the defensive back lines up. He made about 4 moves down the field. Damon Allen really had no shot to decide where he was going to end up and threw incompletion.
Caravata aiming for the sidelines, trying to keep it away from the Eskimo return man, and Don Blair watches it roll out of bounds at the 9-yard line. Good kick by Caravata.
This is called a read route, Gordon. What happens is he has the option, Alfred Jackson, to run corner. He can either run corner or run post, depending on what the secondary gives him. Now watch the moves he makes down the field. He's going to run to the corner first, then he goes back to the post. He's not really sure which way he's going to go, and neither is Damon Allen. The ball bounces on the turf because of it.
Damon Allen, by the way, in the football game is 1 of 7 passing for -2 yards. So the fast start the BC Lions were looking for has not materialized thus far, but the Edmonton Eskimos in a deep hole now, start at their own 9-yard line. First, the lone man in the backfield takes the carry from Danny McManus and gets not much. In fact, he might have lost a yard.
A lot of people were wondering why Mike Sellers, who did a nice job replacing Tony Burse, was taken out of the lineup, but you got to have Tony Burse in the lineup. Here's a guy who not only is a hammer on running the football up the middle and can score touchdowns. He has 10 on the season, but he also covers kicks, is a good special teams player, and catches the ball well.
He's missed 5 weeks and is still 4th in the league with 10 rushing touchdowns. Now McManus from the shotgun. Pump fake by McManus. Lots of time. He's got Eric Blunt. Blunt slips. And that may have cost him a first down. Blunt needed the 19-yard line, but fell at the 18.
Well, Danny McManus's eyes must have got huge when he saw this matchup. Eric Blunt right here is going to come across the field. Look at the matchup that ends up on Eric Blunt. Joe Fleming,
a defensive lineman.
Number 76, a defensive lineman who, as a changeup drops into coverage for the BC Lion defense, has to cover Blunt. Danny McManus must have thought, wow, I got to get him the ball when I see a lineman covering my tailback.
Now decision time for Ron Lancaster. It's 3rd and less than a yard, and he'll send in the short yardage team.
Oh, this is... You know, you say when you get a yard off the ball, it's only a yard, you should be able to pick it up, but a lot of things can happen. You can fumble a snap, you can drop the ball on the exchange, you may not get the right surge. I mean, this is a big gamble at this point in the game and this point on the field.
Vic Stevenson, number 63, checks into the game as an eligible receiver.
And remember, Gord, of the 15 turnovers that the Lions have had against Edmonton this year, one of those turnovers was on downs. So they've stopped Edmonton on a gamble before.
3rd and a yard. The Eskimos from their 18-yard line. McManus will take it straight ahead. And if you can find him under that pile, all the best.
It always amazes me how the officials can put their foot down so confidently on a mark when there's, how do they see where he is?
Well, first of all, he's crawled forward about 1.5 feet since the whistle went.
And you know, every defender in that pile is ripping at the football, trying to push him back.
And the Eskimos do have the first down.
Well, when it's under a yard, you should get it as long as the snap and the exchange is clean. And the clean exchange to Danny McManus, he leans forward and picks up the first down. So,
well, Lancaster goes gambling, but then again, Lancaster, the color commentator, always used to say that if you couldn't get a yard in a league where they give you one, there was a problem. Now on first down, the give goes off to Eric Blunt, and he is thrown back hard. Middle linebacker Kelly Lockbaum got there. And, you know, you talk about long drives in the Canadian Football League. When Ron Lancaster was coaching in Saskatchewan, Steve Barrato was his assistant coach. He said, have the offense run some plays against cones just to get the timing down. He went away, came back, said to Barrato, how's it going? He says, well, the cones are up 7-0. He says, you try running 10, 12 plays off against air, and it's tough.
Yeah, Adam Reeder made that point this year. Said against air, we can't complete 5 in a row in training camp. We gotta work on things.
BC showing blitz. Looks like Maurice Kelly was offside. McManus gets it away to Eddie Brown. He's got the catch, and Brown lost the football. BC has it at the Edmonton 39-yard line, but it looked like Maurice Kelly had jumped. So Edmonton might get a gigantic break here as the 20-yard gain by Eddie Brown, but then the fumble will come back. Lancaster would much have preferred to see the 20-yard gain and no fumble.
Well, at the start of the play, Danny McManus did such a great job of staggering his snap count.
Procedure.
Oh.
Ooh.
Edmonton number 20. Offside. BC number 11.
Now, wait a minute.
Repeat second down.
Now, wait a minute.
How does that happen?
I don't understand that. How do you get a legal procedure and offside on the same play?
Well,
one guy has to be first.
You got me.
If it's a legal procedure,
Don't look at me.
If it's a legal procedure, you have drawn the defender offside.
I'm wearing a striped tie, not a striped shirt. I can't help you there.
I don't get that one.
So it never happened. Second down, McManus from the shotgun, flags again.
Well, this time Chaders.
That had to be Dave Chaders.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go out on the limb and say Dave Chaders was offside there.
Yeah, this time it's Chaders.
Procedure. Edmonton number 14.
Okay.
Still second down.
So now they got McManus.
Well, Danny McManus on both plays now has been really staggering.
But hang on, the quarterback's in the shotgun. How can he draw anybody offside?
Well, you can't deliberately, through your count, according to the rules, draw a guy offside. And if you make a motion with your arms or with your head, you can be deliberately drawing the well, that's what it says.
Okay, good.
But that's supposed to be when the quarterback's under center,
so,
you know.
So that's the one you want to go with?
No, well,
okay.
That's what it says in the book.
2nd and 15. McManus up and throwing, and he's got his man, and he's got some room. It's Don Blair with the catch, and Blair out across the 50 as a first down to the 52-yard line.
David Mieva is the linebacker that was in charge of covering that zone, the flat zone underneath Don Blair on the play. He gets out into the flat, hasn't played in a few weeks, and gets his head on a swivel. You'll see 31 to the right of your screen. He kind of gets lost and can't find the receiver, Don Blair. That's why the opening's there. Blair can pick up the first down.
A 39-yard pickup and an Edmonton Eskimo first down. This drive began at the Edmonton 9. Play action on first down. McManus over the middle, and and a flag comes down from the far side of the field. That's got to be pass interference on Rasheed Gale, but that flag came from about 50 yards away.
Rasheed Gale read Danny McManus so quickly on the play and broke on the ball before the receiver did, and therefore got there too soon and actually made contact. It's a good call.
BC number 14, first down.
It'll be a first down for the Eskimos now, and they've crossed that invisible wall midfield for the first time.
Rasheed Gale's on his break already. Robert Gordon hadn't even turned around when he was breaking to the football and got there just a split second too soon. Contact, then the ball. Good call.
From now, the Lions' 47-yard line. The Eskimo drive continues. McManus from the shotgun. Here comes the rush. McManus gets it away. No, he doesn't catch it, though. Robert Gordon, they say, picked it up off the turf, and the official pounds the turf for emphasis as Robert Gordon goes to the end zone just in case.
Well, he had the best view. He was standing right on the spot. He had the best view, but we have the replay, so let's go to
we have
that.
The slow view.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one hopper.
You get the one hopper. Right now, McManus is really finding holes in this BC Lion defense, and if they're going to have success defensively on the BC Lion side of the football, they better start sending some more pressure.
Should be the final play of the opening quarter. McManus slips, gets it away over the middle. Gordon has the catch and has a first down to the BC 35-yard line. Edmonton with a 9-play drive going, a pickup of 12 to Robert Gordon keeps it alive. The second quarter when we come back, but right now let's send you back to CFL Live at the quarter.
CFL Live at the quarter is brought to you by Midas for new, longer-lasting carbon metallic brake pads. One other game going on in the Canadian Football League this afternoon at Taylor Field in Regina, and Saskatchewan is trailing the Hamilton Tiger Cats on a Yonel Jordan touchdown. Former Buffalo Bill taking it in a 6-yard TD catch, 7-0 Ticats. And welcome back to CFL Live. At the quarter, Rod Smith back with Obi, Les, and Marty. Hey, we talked about turnovers with these two teams. That's been their history this season. And once again, Les, a turnover leads to the only points of the ball game.
Well, Glenn Suter talked at the beginning, when it happened, about receivers getting mixed up in their routes. Well, defensive backs love to see receivers get mixed up in their routes. That way they can shove them into one another and cause something like this to happen. As we see here, Damon Allen drops back. One of these receivers got confused, ran the wrong route or whatever, but I'm sure they're hearing about it on the sideline. As you see the defensive backs knock them into one another, the ball pops up in the air. Willie Pless, who's always around the ball, like they said, with 103, 104 tackles, always around the ball. One thing I didn't want Willie to do is to pitch that ball, and when you're on the sideline now, you could mess up that turnover as well.
I don't know if you can blame that interception less on Damon Allen, but in the last few weeks, he has been really subpar. Earlier this season, you were one of the guys, and Gordon Miller, and so many others who thought that he should have been the most outstanding player candidate from the Western Division. He's really blown that opportunity. He's taken a lot of heat from the Vancouver media lately, particularly Kent Gilchrist of the Vancouver Sun, of Vancouver Province. But he's really blown his chance for being, and now I think you've got to look at Garcia or McManus or even Alfred Jackson as the outstanding player in the West.
Well, I think part of that situation might be they've changed their look a little offensively, and they haven't got set in their receiving core all year. It seems like that's been a problem. And an area that I've been watching closely today in this particular game, especially with the wind factor, is the punting, because Fleming and going into the game, Louis Pasaglia were the two worst punters average-wise and net-wise in the league. Fleming was a little better, and that's going to be a factor as this game goes on, the punting in the field position.
Well, Lions trailing now. Let's head back once again to Commonwealth Stadium to Gordon Glen, guys.
3-0 Edmonton leads after the first quarter of play. The Eskimo drive continues as Danny McManus hits Eddie Brown, and Brown now has some room to run. Still going across the 20 and down to the 18-yard line for another Edmonton Eskimo first down. And the numbers from the first quarter brought to you by Midas. Look at BC's passing numbers, -2 yards, but the Edmonton Eskimos with most of their 87 yards on this drive.
And that one turnover turned into that Sean Fleming 29-yard field goal. Willie Pless with the big interception takes it back, and Fleming kicks field goal, and that's the points in the game.
Lancaster talked about how hard it is to put together a long drive. Here's one. McManus over the middle. Darren Flutie, touchdown.
Darren Flutie gets better as the games become more important. When you look at his stats over his career, when he gets into playoff games, the most important games of the season, Darren Flutie averages well over 100 yards per game. This is another one. This is for first place for the Edmonton Eskimos. You know that Darren Flutie will become a factor this afternoon. He already has with his first touchdown.
Sean Fleming puts the point after up and good, and the Edmonton Eskimos early in the second quarter strike on Darren Flutie's 9th touchdown catch of the year. That's a career high for him in a single season. And behind him is one of your favorite vehicles, Glenn, the Edmonton Eskimo fire truck.
You don't know how many times I've wanted to slash those tires.
Joe Fleming of the BC Lions said yesterday he was going to put a candy bar in the gas tank. He was so tired of hearing it.
Well, Darren Flutie does a super job of getting inside position, and Danny McManus recognizes who he's running against, the rookie, Rashid Gale. He sees the rookie covering his veteran in Darren Flutie. He's going to go there. It was man-to-man defense. Flutie knew it. Danny McManus knew it. They hook up. Touchdown for Edmonton.
Hey, Doug, what's up? How you doing? Long way to go now.
Saying hello to his brother, who, along with his Toronto Argonauts, had not a bad day yesterday, and the Argo juggernaut rolls along.
And congratulations to Don Matthews, becoming the all-time winningest coach in CFL history.
Shalon Baker has the kickoff go over his head and will now have to surrender a single point. So the Edmonton Eskimo lead that was 10 is now 11. And in attendance here today, another great former Eskimo and a former premier of this province, Don Getty, who is honored here on the Edmonton Eskimo Wall of Fame as well. And that's the one thing you see in Edmonton and in other places like Calgary too, is how many former players came here and still live here. More than 200 former Edmonton Eskimos live in this community.
Well, it's a tribute to the organization. They bring people in through their scouting programs. They make them feel comfortable here, and they like to stay here after they finish their career.
And become the premier. Here's Brad Yamoka on first down, and Yamoka dragged down at about the 38-yard line. Willie Pless got up there to help make the stop, adding to his league-leading tackle total. And a pickup of 3 yards for Brad Yamoka, who was the BC Lions' third-round draft pick in the '96 draft, and an outside shot at making the team, but has earned himself a spot and starts today.
He looks pretty good today. You know, he's the only guy from UBC in a lineup for the BC Lions that features 10 players from Simon Fraser University. No, but I'll get back to that point in a second.
I'm sure you will. Second down, Allen. And that pass is incomplete. Looking for Alfred Jackson. Malcolm Frank was there on the coverage. It is once again incomplete. Allen now 1 for 8 to open the football game.
Well, Malcolm Frank, the great cover guy, he's up at the top of your screen, just settles his feet, jams Alfred Jackson as he goes to make his break, and is there before the ball gets there. That takes experience to be able to do that as a corner, because you have to read the quarterback and know when he's going to break down, and the receiver will as well.
Julio Caravana's punt hangs up high for another number 2. Henry Williams, the gizmo, retracing his steps. And he is stopped by Nick Richards back at about the 27-yard line, a 38-yard punt, and a loss of 6. The Edmonton Eskimos with an 11-point lead on BC on the CFL Live. You heard Darren Flutie say hello to his brother Doug earlier. Last year, they were both named to the CFL All-Star team. What if they went head-to-head in the Outstanding Player Award voting this year?
What would Mrs. Flutie do then?
You got to think Darren's got a shot at being the outstanding player in the Western Division. After that long march last time, the Eskimos start with better field position. The pass complete to Darren Flutie over the middle. He's got a first down out across the 40 to to the 41-yard line, a pickup of 11.
Well, he does it also well. He reads defenses quickly. See, he knows there's a zone right here, so quickly he's got to get off the jam from Rasheed Gale and find the opening. That's just a timing thing, and he knows he only has a split second to get into that opening to provide Danny McManus with the target. He gets there in time. McManus delivers the football.
Now here comes big Tony Burse, who barrels his way out across the 45, leaving bruises and bumps in his way. He gets out to the 48-yard line and a pickup of 8.
You know, talking about Tony Burse's injury, he had a hand injury. He said the knuckle was basically ripped right off his hand.
Oh.
And he's surprised how quickly he's recovered, because he's really not even wearing protective equipment on it.
Couldn't leave it
Just
a
gloves.
hand injury, could you? Here he comes again out across the 50. The football comes loose, but they say Burse was down, and it should be an Edmonton first down. Don Wilson in to plead his case.
Well, it was a quick whistle, but I think the whistle did blow just before the ball came out.
And this has been somewhat of a... Ooh.
Oh, I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah, now, it looked like he came out before Burse hit the ground there, but I think the whistle blew just before Burse hit the ground. So if you're going on the whistle, it had already gone.
But one problem for the Edmonton Eskimos this year has been short yardage offense, and that's one of the reasons that Tony Burse got the nod over Mike Sellers at fullback, as they feel he's a better short yardage runner. And Mike Sellers was not too pleased about the decision by Ron Lancaster this week to move him to the sidelines.
Well, Mike Sellers is young and get a lot of playing time throughout his career. He's going to have a long one in the CFL.
First down, McManus slips again, and the pass is incomplete to Robert Gordon. Well, Mike Sellers began the year for Edmonton as a defensive lineman. And then, halfway through the year when Burse was injured, he was moved to fullback. And this is a guy who was all-state in Washington in high school at fullback and at linebacker. And actually, Ron Lancaster thinks his natural position, if there was one in the CFL, would be tight end.
Yeah, Mike Sellers, in the 5 games that he played, 38 carries, 131 yards. He averaged 3.4 yards a carry and made a nice one-handed catch during that time. So, showed a lot of athletic ability when the time he was in.
Now the pass over the middle is caught, and it should be another first down. Robert Gordon stopped at the 48-yard line of the BC Lions, and Don Wilson is shaken up after a gain of 12 by Robert Gordon.
Well, sort of a Robert Gordon sandwich, and Don Wilson got the worst of it.
Don Wilson, the ageless one, at 36, starting at defensive halfback for the BC Lions. Ron Lancaster paying tribute to him before this game, saying he's one of the most complete players in the league. But right now, the concern for Adam Rita is that he is down and hurt. And Wilson had been out the last 4 games with an injury and is shaken up again.
Well, this is right at the end of the play. His own defense. Wilson's one area he's got to